This is a Juxtaposition podcast, and all of our balls are swollen thanks to the COVID vaccine. Okay.
True.
Today we have Steve with us, myself, and Randy isn't with us today. Unfortunately, he had some things come up. So we have a guest on the show today. His name is Chris. You can see him there.
Yeah.
If you're watching
Randy's replacement just for this week. We'll be, he'll be back next week, folks. No worries.
Yeah, and if you're watching the live stream, you'll obviously see him down there. So there he is. But yeah, today we are doing console maker power rankings. So you can see on screen, I'll read our current setup for the audio listeners. We have Nintendo versus Atari, Xbox versus Sega, Sony versus Microsoft versus Sega, Sony versus Odyssey, and Television versus Neogeo.
And real quick, just the Odyssey is Magnavox. So the manufacturer of the Odyssey was actually Magnavox.
Okay.
Like your old TVs with the big tubes and stuff.
And the television is Mattel.
Yeah, that shit was before me. Way before me.
Yeah. And Neo Geo is SNK. So if you've seen like the old fighting games like SNK versus Capcom, early shit, that's where that comes from.
Yep, that does make. Yeah, I do actually know what that is. Okay. But all right. So, Steve, I know you wanted to talk about that comedian, what's his name, Norm death that happened today.
Damn, put some respect on it.
I don't know. I'm sorry. But you can go.
Yeah.
It's Norm MacDonald kid. I'm going to shove this kid's head under the bubbler.
So Norm MacDonald, very funny comedian, one of my all-time favorites, one of the all-time greats. Unfortunately, passed away today. It's fresh news. Turns out he's been battling cancer for almost 10 years, just kept it secret, which is a very Norm MacDonald thing to do. If you aren't familiar, he was part of SNL, Saturday Night Live in the 90s. He did Weekend Update. He ended up, Dirty Work was his first starring movie. Then he had The Norm Show. But I think most people know him from either being a guest on talk shows, when talk shows were a thing, or his stand-up. Very funny, very dry wit comedian, very my brand. One of my favorite stories about him is he actually got fired from SNL because he would not stop making fun of O.J. Simpson and referencing, him killing two people. And an executive at Saturday Night Live, Don Allemeyer, was best friends with O.J. and told him to stop. And instead of stopping, he just kind of doubled down and just went after him even harder and ended up getting fired. Which I think, you got to respect that. It'd be a lot easier just to shut your mouth and make money, but you don't want to sacrifice that, whether that's stubborn or, integrity. I don't know. Funny motherfucker. Definitely recommend you go check him out. I think I know, Chris, I know you know him, but Dimitri, I highly recommend you check out his stand-up, or at least some of his guest appearances on Conan and shit like that.
Yeah, his interviews were pretty good too. Always funny, or like always super dry, and sometimes the interviewer just can't get a grasp on him at first. So there's a YouTube rabbit hole that you can dive into to find out more about him.
Yeah, and his Conan got him. He and Conan had great chemistry. I think Letterman did as well, but Conan for sure. So yeah, go down that rabbit hole. I'd start with the moth joke. It's like an 8-minute, just goes on and on forever, and the punchline is fucking perfect. And the story behind that is he did a segment and they went to commercial, and typically after a commercial they go to the next guest or the musical guest, whatever. During the commercial, Conan's like, yeah, we got 6 more minutes, and he was not prepared for that, so he just kind of made the moth joke up on the spot, just fucking freestyling. Fucking works. It's great. Yeah.
What a champion. Sucks to lose him.
Yeah.
That's like, I may not be as tuned in as I should, but that's like what, the second comedian death so far within the last 2-3 months, with Trevor first.
Yeah. Trevor was a shocking one too. Both way too young. I think Norm's 61, but 10-year battle with cancer. It's fucking nuts. And I guess we don't know, and the family doesn't want us to look into it. So I haven't really investigated what happened to Trevor. Just that it was an accident, which is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. We got anything else news wise? Did we talk about the Matrix trailer? Did we ever?
We did.
We did.
Oh, we did the teaser, and in our YouTube upload, I put the I uploaded it on Thursday when the trailer came out. So I embedded the trailer in our YouTube upload, but we haven't discussed it. I'm happy to talk about the trailer if you want.
Yeah, I would love to talk about it. So, bro, that shit was really good. Keanu looks just like, or he basically is John Wick, like just copy pasted into the thing.
I don't want to spoil this for you, but it's played by the same actor, so that's why they look alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been an hour yet.
But yeah, like I don't know if maybe I'm looking into it too much, but like you could see him, Neo, in the trailer just like chugging the blue pills. And like the blue pills are what keep you like in reality basically, or the Matrix, I guess. So like I guess if I'm like I am over analyzing it, but maybe the shit that happened at the end of the Matrix 3 made him just want to escape all that shit, go back in and just ignore everything that he's seen. But like, dude, that's crazy as fuck.
I just assume he's going for his dog. I don't know if his dog is in the Matrix or in
the dog
reality.
Is cross universes.
I have there's your dog. I haven't watched the Matrix trilogy, so I have no idea how Matrix 3 ends. I
can tell
watched
you.
the first one. I don't know.
Well, I don't think we want to spoil it for the audience, so just let's not.
It's a 20-year-old movie. Do we want to? We're gonna sit on that.
I would let me talk about it. Can I discuss?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. Spoilers if you haven't seen the third Matrix movies. Click
just
away.
Go ahead and pause now and just wait, and then come back. And then how long is this gonna take?
Like probably not even 5 minutes. But
okay. Yeah. Come back in 5 minutes. We'll be talking about our sponsor or something.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking Manscaped. Shave your balls. But
speaking of sponsor, you could actually be a sponsor of this show. Send all of your information to contact@justpositionpodcast.com or justposition.com. Go ahead and send us an email. Send it on over. See, gonna plug you right here, and we could put you right here. I'm talking to you, Casper Mattress. I'm talking to you, Blue Chew. I mean,
Raycon, hit us up.
Us guys, it doesn't matter how old you are. We all need you, Blue Chew. Come on, baby, let's go.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no, that email again is contact@justaposition.com. Do I have that right?
Justapositionpodcast.com.
Podcast. That's so.
The backup is these.nuts.
Oh, that'd be jap.com, huh?
That's we don't want to use that.
Yeah, let's censor that.
Let's not get canceled. Okay, sorry. Justapositionpodcast.com. Contact@justapositionpodcast.com.
You know what sucks?
Send us
everyone just fast forward 5 minutes, so they didn't even get that because we told them not to get spoiled.
Exactly. That's what I did there.
Go ahead with your Matrix spoil.
Okay, so basically, what is it? The Matrix Revolutions was the third one, I think. And basically, like the whole time, like the Matrix is like, I don't know, the world is destroyed and they're in a constant battle with machines that have, or it started as an AI that was like sentient and like became too powerful, shit like that, created a whole bunch of other robots and stuff, pushed humans underground to survive. And yeah, so basically at the end of the third movie, the robots kind of invade underground to the last civilization where all the actual humans are left. And yeah, it's just like a huge all-out battle. Neo or Keanu is actually in the Matrix, or wait, is he? I think he's been trying to fight like in the actual like world, but also going into the Matrix to fight Agent Smith, Steve's cousin. Yep. So yeah, towards the end of the Matrix 3, Neo or Keanu actually gets blinded by Agent Smith in the actual world, not in the Matrix. Somehow Agent Smith was able to commandeer a human body from within the Matrix, which is fucking insane. And he fought Neo as a human, so Neo wasn't some overpowered badass.
You know who else was able to commandeer a human body?
Who?
Edgar, when the alien Men in Black, I need water with
Yes.
sugar in it. Talk about commandeering
the
bodies.
sugar
Sorry,
water, bro. That
yeah.
was
I need
insane.
water with sugar in it. Damn, Edgar, you don't look so good.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a crossover. I'd watch that. Men in
Same.
Black meet Matrix.
Oh my god, the Men in Black Matrix. It's just it might pair nicely.
Yeah, I don't know. The Matrix doesn't have aliens in it.
They should.
Low key.
So do you think is Matrix 3 worth watching? Because I've only heard bad things.
I don't go into it without getting freshened up on the first two, because you'll be absolutely lost. But it's worth a watch. But yeah,
Okay.
Neo was blinded. His eyes were absolutely fucked, and
Is that your medical opinion?
yes, status absolutely fucked. But yeah,
Only on international waters though, folks. Just we don't actually make like medical claims or anything like that, or
this is
diagnoses
not
or anything.
It's not a medical podcast.
Yeah,
We can get Dr. Minaj though. She seems to know.
Oh, you know what? We need to do that. We need to do that.
Are
Next
your
week.
balls swollen? Ask Nikki. But
Seriously, that could be a sponsor all day. Hey, Nikki, contact at justapositionpodcast.com. If you need me to spell it, we'll talk after, okay? Shoot me a DM in the chat, girl.
But okay, yeah. Last thing I'll say about it, his eyes were fucked, and his girlfriend died. So I'm thinking maybe that kind of made him say, fuck it, I'm going back in. I don't want to think about this anymore. So yeah, I think he went back in, chugging the blue pills to stay.
Yeah, I think that's implied in the trailer. Someone makes a comment about how he doesn't want to deal with it or something like that. So it's definitely implied. So that's cool. I'm gonna check that shit out.
Yeah, and I don't know if the agents are back. I'm pretty sure they are, because I saw them taking over other people's bodies and shit like they did in the other movies. And they're walking through mirrors and shit. Neo is fucking in the Matrix, beating that one dude's ass, exploded the whole fucking building. So it's gonna be crazy, bro. I'm insanely hyped for it.
Yeah, I'm going to see that shit in theater.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think now y'all got anything else as far as news or what you're excited over?
I was just gonna mention I got a Retron 3 HD, and it's fucking awesome. So I mentioned on here before that I've been getting into retro gaming. Chris, who's here, has been a big help in that, helping me track down hardware, refurbing. He's fucking awesome. So yeah, I picked that up just because I don't have a lot of space, and yeah, you can see behind him he's got a GameCube, a Dreamcast, and a couple of PS3s.
Contact at justapositionpodcast.com. If you see anything up here you like, give me a shout. We'll go ahead and give you a coupon code. We'll give you 20% off. How's that? For just hitting up contact at justapositionpodcast.com.
So
if you think I'm joking, I'm not. 20% off.
Appreciate that. So I definitely I picked up the Retron 3 HD because I just needed some space. It was a pain in the ass to swap out.
You sound like somebody who's going through a breakup. I just need some space.
I was just downsizing, shit was complicated. And my daughter really wanted to play NES and SNES, and she's got a newer TV, so she didn't have the hookup. So this has HDMI, made sense. So, and I definitely recommend it. I was afraid it was going to feel cheap. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels premium, and it looks good. It upscales pretty nicely.
And that's one thing I wanted to bring up, because items that you might use to upscale are A, either very expensive, or B, very cheap. And the very cheap ones will go up to 720p, but it looks terrible. It's just taking that 600 by 800 or that 840p, and it's just stretching it. It doesn't look right, especially for things like N64 or your classic Nintendo. So the fact that you can get this console, which I assume it was either between $89 and maybe $129 US, and
it was $84.99. Yeah,
exactly. So you were able to upscale that, when if you bought a professional actual kit to upscale from that low res to your, high def televisions, it would cost you $200 alone. So it's actually a
Yeah.
pretty good deal. So anybody that wants to go out there and not to like boast their company, but if they're listening, it's contact at justpositionpodcast.com.
And the other thing I was going to say is the console is it's not an emulator; it's a clone hardware, which is nice. So they essentially it plays NES, SNES, and Genesis, and it's got the hardware to do it. It's not running an emulator.
Do you play any
They're
Genesis
not.
games?
Oh, Genesis.
Yeah.
I was playing Sonic 2 with Noah. He was controlling Tails. That was cool. Like the little brother controls Tails, and you can actually just play the game because it will drag him along.
And it's one single controller for the console that operates all three, right? So
No,
or is
it's got three inputs. So it's got NES on the left side, SNES in the front, and Genesis on the right. And
So
it uses
Sorry.
you can use the original controller, but it comes with a SNES and a Genesis clone controller.
Nice.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, I have one right here. I can show you.
Well, if you I have Tecmo both for the Genesis, so let me know if you want to get your hands on a little football.
This is a Genesis clone.
Nice.
And it feels premium. It
Wow.
doesn't feel cheap. It's good.
Yeah, that's nice and clean. Yeah. But if you're interested in Tecmo Bowl, I actually have the physical copy with book and case, so.
Oh yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah, this is kind of an interest or a good segue, I guess. Let's Chris, who are you? Tell us who you are.
Oh boy, do you really want to know? No, I'm the guy that got called last minute to be on the podcast because they didn't really want me here. No, just kidding. No, I've been kind of laying low on this. They've asked me to come on a couple times, but I do a lot of things like retro game repair. I can do electronics repair. I got a soldering iron kit over here to my left. I help people get their hands on things, either rare or not rare. Sometimes I just get a phone call like, "Hey, I need like a Wii Fit board and a Wii Fit game," and it's like, "Okay, I can ship that out to you right away." So, usually just people hit me up about that stuff. I started doing repairs after I was watching this YouTube channel. I think it was the Odd Tinkerer. It's like a British
No,
guy, and
we're
like,
not plugging anyone else's YouTube.
oh no, we're gonna plug ourselves. Contact at justpositionpodcast.com. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, no, I was watching a YouTube video and this guy did like this. It was almost like ASMR. He didn't talk or anything. It was just like words and like he fixed this thing. And I'm like, holy smokes, I think I could do that. And then all of a sudden I went to trade shows. I have boxes. I don't know if you can see them on camera here, but I got boxes here. All that stuff up there is repaired. All the PlayStation 3s are good to go. The PS2 is clean. The mini PS2 is clean, or the Slim rather. The Dreamcast is probably the easiest console to work on, and then you have the GameCube, which is also very clean. It's a little more difficult to work on, but I think it's I just started getting into it, started learning the history, and then I'm a programmer or a technical lead by day, so I do a lot of programming and I work with a lot of developers. So when I started learning about how the games were programmed, such as like Sega CD, like I never knew that Sega CD, like the first ring on the CD or the little card that you inserted actually was the game, and all the CD is the music. It's actually kind of cool because you could take those Sega CDs and put them in like a car, CD player if you still have those, and just play them through the speakers. But anyway, that's who I am. I do repairs and whatever people need.
Also, Chris, I've known him for 20 something years. He was the
Mhm.
best man at my wedding, my best friend in the world. So glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, and I got some embarrassing stories, so we'll be.
And that was your time. Thank you for joining.
Okay, great. You know what? You guys
Adios.
have a wonderful evening. One last time, contact at Just Position Podcast. Y'all can just Blue Chew, Casper mattress, I don't
Raycon
know,
NordVPN.
dollar
Yeah.
shave, Tunnel Bear, I don't know, Henry's Shave Club. Like, let's do this thing. I mean, Atlantic Brewing Company. Hit us up. Hit us up.
Are we good to start into our tournament?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm good if you guys are. All right.
I'm ready.
All right, so now we're going to roll into our tournament. And just to go over it again for our audio listeners so they don't get confused, we have Nintendo versus Atari, Microsoft versus Sega, Sony versus was Odyssey Magnavox, you said?
Yeah, Magnavox Odyssey, yeah.
Sony versus Magnavox, and what was
Mattel.
Mattel
So
in television, and SNK Neogeo.
yeah,
So that's where we're at. Do you guys want to start with Sony and Magnavox or Nintendo and Atari?
left or right, right? I think
Yep,
we
left or
start with
right.
Nintendo Atari.
All right, so I guess I'll start off. I mean, I am at
Wow,
sort
we
of
are
an
starting powerful here. I fucking
yeah, because I don't want to hype them up too hard because they do fuck up. Nintendo is a good company. They put out great games, but they're so old fashioned. Like they lose points for the Switch being so ass. Um, what the Switch is only what 720p, 1080p when docked. No party chat system, no external storage support.
I got one. I cannot play my games unless I'm on Wi-Fi. If
Yep.
it's a digital copy, it needs to call home to authenticate that you are entitled to play that. It's a fucking portable handheld. Why the hell can't I play my digital games?
Yep. And
okay,
not only
yeah.
that, the Joy Cons, the stick drift, like I think there's still an active like suit against Nintendo to fix that shit. And with the OLED coming out soon, hopefully that's resolved, but we shall see. So yeah, Nintendo, great company. I fucking love them, but their ways just piss me off. I can't really speak too much
Go.
to Atari, so I'll throw that to you old heads.
Okay. So real quick on Nintendo, yeah. So Nintendo's not very impressive, right? They had the NES and the SNES, which was a great jump. Then the N64 was an awesome jump. However, a lot of at the time Sony came out with the CDs, and the CD technology was a lot. There you could do a lot more with it, right? I remember playing NHL. Oh, was it 98? I think it was NHL 98 on the PS1, and it was just like they actually played like a video of hockey players, like, and it was like you were watching TV, and it was awesome.
FMV,
N64
yeah.
and N64 was just grainy and it was just painful. And then you had the Wii and the Wii U, which to me really wasn't a jump. I think the Wii U was a predecessor for what we were going to see in the Switch, and I think what the Switch is today is what they wanted the Wii U to be, but they didn't have the technology shrunk down enough. Um, I've never experienced Joy-Con drift. I've received Joy-Cons from people. They send them to me. I fix them and send them back. Um, that's not really a big issue. For me at least, because I'm not hard on them. I get it. Kids can be kind of hard on them. Um, but I don't know. I think Nintendo's not progressing fast enough.
hmm
And it's almost like a Moore's law thing. Moore's law states that every 24 months, a microprocessor will double in size and double in chips and reduce by half in size or whatever. Well, we're at a point now where we have these tiny chips that are very powerful, and it, it's still everything's still cell shaded, and it's very soft color graphics. And I understand it might be geared towards kids, but the selection for adults is minimal, and that's where the Switch is going to be. The Switch is going to be in the home of the family, right? If you think about an Xbox now, you're thinking about, okay, maybe boyfriend girlfriend play, maybe single dude in an apartment plays that, right? But like, if a person's buying a Switch, they're buying it for their children. Why not
And I
also gear games towards the adults after 10 p.m. or 9 p.m.? I don't know when Gen
the,
Zers put their kids to bed.
the biggest thing for Nintendo are the first party games too. Like if it isn't for that Mario, Zelda, those Metroid, those games, what the hell? Why would you buy the Nintendo? It's underpowered compared to everything else that's current gen. I love my Switch, and I'm glad to play it, but I won't touch it for months.
Yeah, they maybe have one heavy hitter that I'll play a year, if that. So like, I don't know, it's just weird because I love the fucking Switch. Like, it's portable, and you can sit down on the couch, dock it, and play it. Some of my
Yeah,
favorite games have been on the Switch, but like, it has so much going against it because when I'm playing it, I'm trying to walk forward, but my stick drift says "fuck you," you're going backwards. So, like, I can't talk to my friends on there inside the Switch. I have to go to like Discord or FaceTime or a phone call for some friends, and that just kind of sucks. Like, when I'm playing the console, I want to be in the console, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of very inconvenient. In which Nintendo does have that Nintendo voice chat app, but even so, you have to use your phone for that. So that sucks.
Yeah.
The other
All
thing
that
that
being, I'm
oh,
sorry.
sorry. No, the
I was
other
gonna
the
say,
one last mistake with Nintendo, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say everything, all the shit we're giving Nintendo, they're still gonna win this.
Yes.
Atari hasn't. Atari was groundbreaking. The 2600, the 5200, the 7800, fantastic consoles in their time, but they had their two biggest issues being their naming scheme and they didn't progress enough between generations. They didn't differentiate between the previous generation. If at that time, especially the 2600, before the NES, and you're competing with the Odyssey and the Television and the 2600, uh, video games were very new in the home. So no one knew that people were confused that they bought a game for the 2600 and it didn't work in their television. And the games themselves, there was no quality check. Uh, we didn't mention it in the Nintendo talk, but Nintendo, when the NES came out, everyone thought video games were dead. The bubble had burst in '83 with Atari being a primary reason for it, and they just published it. Didn't there was no quality check, so just shit games were being released. Nintendo instituted the quality assurance, so every Nintendo, besides a few knockoff ones, had a sticker on it. Every Nintendo cartridge had a Nintendo quality assurance sticker on it, and it cost a lot of money for developers to get that shit. It was a big issue. It was very controversial, but they were
What was that
very
game developer that made those games that were all garbage and oh man,
LJN.
LJN, that's right, LJN. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so
They had the different cartridge and everything because they couldn't get that Nintendo license, right?
no, that was that started with that was Tengrin. They reverse engineered the cartridge. LJN was they would get the license from a lot of times they license movies. So like Back to the Future was an LJN game that had nothing to do with Back to the Future and was complete trash because they spent all the money licensing the IP and not in developing the game. Um, but
Could
yeah,
you get real world
both were
example? Could you
garbage.
just imagine like if you're buying like a Star Wars Lego set and it's just like the city Lego set and it's just like maybe they gave like a figure to look like Chewbacca.
Maybe just a little bit slightly. You can tell what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
You can put the Chewbacca like hair on and that's it. That's all you get.
so Atari right now, by the way, exists in name only. It's the name's been purchased several times. So if you buy anything that's Atari licensed, like they just released a console called the Atari VCS, which is essentially a video game or a small PC. It's not good from everything I've read. I haven't touched one myself, but the reviews I read on it not great. And if you buy like an Atari shirt, it's some French company, which is fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it is not the original Atari that we know from the 80s. So I appreciate and respect Atari what they did, but they don't. They're not up there with Nintendo.
Okay. No, I'm gonna second that position. I mean, Atari had the opportunity to be huge. Nintendo came in and swoop. And the other point I wanted to go back to Nintendo on is the Switch. They had a Netflix app, and then one day they didn't.
They
And
replaced
honestly,
it with a
like
calculator app that's full price.
seriously, like no, like I was sitting there like loving my little Switch. I would put it I'm a bigger dude, I put it, I prop it up like an otter at night trying to, watch some Netflix, some 3-inch Netflix, my old man eyes right here because Papaw's eyes are tired. I did a little otter thing and I kind of like, checked it out and I was watching and one day I didn't have the Netflix app anymore and I'm like, all I have is Hulu.
Trash.
Trash. How am I going to watch Ozark? By the way, Ozark, if you want to get a sponsorship on this podcast, you can go to contact@justapositionpodcast.com. Just go check us out. Contact@justapositionpodcast.com.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And like a little bit more on Nintendo. I don't want to talk about it like we're only judging it based off of like the Switch. Obviously, Nintendo wins over Atari, but like they had some great fucking games. Just Nintendo fucking GoldenEye. You got obviously all the Zeldas and shit in
Turok,
it. Huh?
Perfect Dark.
Yeah. Is Perfect Dark Nintendo? I thought that was Sega, or am I just stupid?
Well, it was
I think it's shit. My brain just melted.
N64, just it ported.
It's it's the same manufacturer, Rare developer.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of Rare,
Banjo
Donkey Kong.
Kazooie. Yeah,
Let's
Donkey
go.
Kong.
Oh, yeah, Banjo. There we go.
I mean, Nintendo just didn't miss for a long time, and they're still making hits, but like, I don't know, it's not that.
Give me
enjoyable
another
to
fucking
play.
Mario Kart, damn it! Mario Kart 8's been out as long as GTA 5.
Dead ass. But okay, all right. I'm gonna slide Nintendo.
Yeah, let's just slide
to
to
the second
the right.
round. Boom.
Take it back
Nintendo.
now, y'all.
Atari, get fucked.
DMCA.
Sorry.
Get fucked. Okay. All right. So next we have. Do we want to do Xbox and Sega or Sony?
Let's do Sony and Odyssey because I don't have much to say about the Odyssey.
Yeah, same. I wasn't even born for when that shit was around. So actually, do y'all have anything to say about the Odyssey? Because I'll just slide Sony right the fuck over.
Well, okay, so yes, Sony because of our age, but we also have to kind of give the Odyssey respect.
Do
I
we?
will
Right.
say, so the
Because
Odyssey was the first commercial home video game console released in September 1972. None of
Right.
our asses were alive then, but obviously groundbreaking, right?
I mean, Atari's Pong made it to this platform before it made it to Atari itself.
Yeah.
I mean, just because it's an old man doesn't mean it doesn't hold up. But unfortunately, in this bracket, based on the scoring rubric, which was kind of a bunch of cupcakes thrown at a wall, I think Sony, and for me, is going to have to win.
Obviously.
By the way, if anyone can send me cupcakes, that'd be great. You can get my information by contact at justapositionpodcast.com. They'll give you my address. Send me cupcakes. Thanks.
So yeah, I mean the PlayStation is badass. It's my favorite. I'm definitely Sony fanboy. I was Nintendo. SNES is probably my all-time favorite console ever, but Sony, as soon as PS1 came out, I jumped over. I didn't have an N64. I didn't have a GameCube. I didn't get a Nintendo until the Wii because I think everyone in America automatically got one. Pretty sure we did.
Yeah, that was just it showed up at your door. I think it was like at the time instead of like $600 from the government, you got a Wii. I think it was some kind of stimulus thing. But
didn't Final Fantasy VII release on PS1?
It did. Yes, that is correct.
Wasn't it like something crazy, like 7 discs or some shit?
4.
Yeah,
But
it was nuts.
That's still huge.
Yes, it is huge. And Final Fantasy VIII was released, but Final Fantasy VII, if you just a little bit of retro video game knowledge here, and I don't have it close by. I really wish I did, but they made a typo on the back of it. There's like a letter I that's like moved down just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, spoilers for everybody who hasn't seen the case. But if you move the I, it's just it's a misprint, and actually it's worth a lot of money. For PlayStation games, though, if you're a collector or you're interested in collecting, don't collect the greatest hits with the green label. Nobody cares about those.
Yeah.
Those were just reburns after 1 million sold. No big deal. So we can. I mean, personally, I would look for black label. I would look for things like typos, etc. Final Fantasy VIII was revolutionary in my opinion too. So let's jump from 7 to 8. 7 was great. It had probably the best gameplay, the best plot line. I know that we've already moved PlayStation forward, but I gotta mark out to Final Fantasy 7. I mean, I played Final Fantasy on the NES, SNES. NES, I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. maybe I was trying to bite my ears the whole time. I don't know, but it just didn't captivate me. 7 got me with Barrett and Cloud and all the characters. Like, it was really well done, starting at the train and going through all of the worlds, which at the time were kind of like I don't want to call it 3D, but they were kind of like 2.5D, and they were excellent.
Yeah, it was really
Um,
good. And the music was insane. Bro, the OST is iconic even still to this day. And with
mm,
Final Fantasy VII Remake, the like upgrade to the music, like it still sounds like the original, but so much more improved. It's so fucking good. But yeah,
um,
more about Sony. You already know I'm about to say it. The one plug of the plug of the game that I love most, which I may talk about it.
Spyro, Spyro the
No,
Dragon.
good game, great game. But I may talk to it when we go back over on the other side of the list. But Persona,
What was that?
Persona.
Yeah.
I think Persona 1 and 2 hit PS1 as well. I didn't play those. I still have not played them, so I may make my way to them eventually. I heard they play like shit, so I'm not too hyped to go play them. But Persona 3, PS2, hard, PS4, or no wait, Persona 4 with I think that was on PS2 as well. And then Persona 4 Golden hit the Vita, and then Persona 5, PS3, PS4, and like, bro, like what more do you need to hear from me? Like, I love PlayStation solely because of Persona, but you can't forget about fucking God of War, Horizon, the whole Final Fantasy shit like we were talking about, Spyro, GTA started there. So like, obviously they're shitting on Odyssey. Odyssey cannot even compete. I think I hoed them by putting Sony against Odyssey, but oh well.
I mean, the idea was top seed versus low seed. So Nintendo versus Atari and Sony versus Odyssey were the top and the lowest seed in each bracket. That was
Did
our throw together logic on that.
didn't Tomb Raider also hit PS1 first? Or was that
No,
Nintendo?
no, Tomb Raider hit Sega Dreamcast or not Dreamcast. My brain just melted. Sega
PS1.
Saturn. No, Tomb Raider
Well,
was on Sega Saturn first.
right, but it wasn't made iconic until it came out on a demo disc of
That's
Agreed.
exactly where I played it.
It made its name on PS1, 100%, but it did start off on Sega Saturn.
Yeah, you can't say enough good things about Sony. Like, yes, they do make some dumb decisions, and yes, the PS5 is useless right now, but it won't be useless for much longer
Right.
because that showcase has some fucking bangers in it.
True. It wasn't even on our news for
Oh
today, but the
shit!
showcase definitely did.
Yeah,
We can make a bonus episode for that.
yep. But yeah,
Uh,
Sony over Odyssey. That was an easy. We didn't even talk about Odyssey for any amount of time, but yeah, that's our standings. All right. So next we'll do Microsoft versus Sega.
Can we do Intellivision versus Neo Geo first? I really am conflicted with the Microsoft and Sega, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna end like on a high with the Microsoft and Sega.
Yeah, we can talk about it. This one's going to be all you and Steve. I was not born during this era. So go for it.
Okay,
so
Steve
go for it.
first.
You can go first.
No, please. By all means, you.
I did not have a television, and the only thing I know about Neo Geo is it was a very early attempt at essentially getting arcade games at home, and every game itself, just the game, was $600. So I don't know a single person that had a Neo Geo. I know Neo Geo Pocket was relatively popular. I didn't have one either. I've looked into getting a Neo Geo just for a collector's point, but fucking A, it's so expensive. And I know Intellivision essentially is made by Mattel, and it really competed directly with the 2600. It came out the same year. It was pretty popular. It was, you know, it sold about 3 million units, which is not bad, nothing to sneeze at. And it was the last Mattel console before they made the Hyperscan, which we will talk about in a future episode when Randy's here, because he knows a lot about that shit. But yeah, out of these two, I'd probably take Neo Geo because I like the concept. But in television, I got to show you some respect.
Well, and television's still in business?
So
So I don't know. Can we really compare these two? We're talking about Neo Geo, which is a failed home arcade system, versus
well, not
in
necessarily.
television, which came out with an Amico recently. It's very
I would
modern
say
looking.
the Neo Geo was not a failure. They lasted 20 something years. They were mostly known for their arcade cabinets. So they were every arcade, well, not every, but a lot of the arcade cabinets were straight up Neo Geo with whatever game on it. So they lasted from 1990 to 2004. So I guess 14 years. So not bad. They would definitely made their own. They just never broke into the home market.
Right. Yeah, they
I
were.
mean,
It's almost like it
so
was business to business focused. It wasn't really,
exactly.
business to consumer. It was business to consumer eventually. But yeah, no, they definitely
And
did their part.
Neo Geo is owned by SNK, and SNK versus Capcom were pretty popular games, home fighting games. Metal Slug, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, some decent name.
But we're talking about the console. We're not talking about the game,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna.
I mean, you could be a great developer at a game, but be really crappy at the hardware.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna say that like SNK, like I don't know, their fighting game, the King of Fighters, like I think their fighters made them basically, like if that makes sense. Like, cause you have Terry made it into Smash, you have like I don't know, their console was just ass, I guess, but the games were good, weren't they?
Well, yeah. And let's
yeah,
just be honest here, right? I think either or in television or Neo Geo that goes up against PlayStation. I mean, for at least the age group of, oh my gosh, what, 25 to 35, the PlayStation would probably win and move to the final bracket anyway. How about
yeah,
that?
yeah. I agree. I mean, I don't think it doesn't matter what age group you're in. Sony is going to win that side. But that being said, out of these two, I'm going to vote for Neo Geo.
Okay. You know what? I'll second the Neo Geo. Just because you're
Yep.
right, SNK is very popular still, and like to buy it for the Dreamcast is, I mean, you can't get it for any less than 120 bucks in good condition. So Neo Geo wins. I can't think of any games that Intel. So Neo Geo did do hardware and software, so that does kind of put him in the lead there. So let's go ahead and pull that guy over.
All right,
Sweet.
Neo Geo is over. All
This is
right,
going to be a tough one. I think this
it
is the one
really
we've all been
is.
dreading.
I'm not dreading it, but I love both of them. It's gonna be a tough decision.
So
Next
we're
we have
talking Xbox versus Sega, or
man.
We're talking
Microsoft versus
Microsoft as
Sega.
a whole. Yeah, so this is where I have a lot of confliction because Microsoft's still around. Sega kind of stopped, but Sega was on par to outpace even the latest Microsoft stuff today. I mean, if you look at the Dreamcast was what, the first 128-bit system
Yeah,
before they even had the
and
PS2 and the Xbox.
Dreamcast. Dreamcast first to have LAN built in, internet built in onto
They
the
had the
console.
internet browser disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 and 2, version 2.0.
Ooh.
And if you'd
And
like a copy of that, you can email contact@justpositionpodcast.com. And if you want to sponsor us because we're really funny and great and have a lot of good content, also contact at justpositionpodcast.com.
yeah, and
So
the fucking the memory cards. Like I feel like we have to start there. Like there's never been any shit like that since. They were way
Um,
ahead of their time.
BMU.
yeah, you done did it now. Hold
Always
on.
whipping out the
So well,
collection.
we got to we
Nah,
should
wait.
start at the beginning. So the Sega Master System went head to head with the Nintendo Entertainment System. Was not very popular in the States, but was huge in Europe and had some damn good games. Alex the Kid was their attempt at Super Mario, their attempt at a mascot, and Chris is holding up the VMU and the Dreamcast controller right now.
The matching set.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, that's nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you want one of those, hit up contact at justapositionpodcast.com.
See, there you go. Now we're talking. See, now you can get 20% off today. Actually, the blue ones are actually they're pretty popular. The yellow is the most popular. The red is the second most popular. Then there's black and green, and then you have your traditional white. Let's talk about that. We got the VMU.
So we're talking about the Dreamcast. Dreamcast was one of my favorite consoles. I've talked about it several times down here. Great, underappreciated in its time. It just got overlooked by the PS2. PS2 was a fucking juggernaut. Came out, was groundbreaking, had killer games for it too. GTA 3, right? That came out in PS2. That was huge. And a number of other games. And just in the fact that it had a DVD player built in, at a time when the DVD player was $700 alone, someone can go to the store, spend $500, get a console and a gaming or a DVD player and a home console at the same time. So that was a huge death blow for Sega. And the last console they released, they're not a sponsor yet, but there's an awesome book called The Console Wars, which really gets into Sega versus Nintendo in the early 90s. Starts with the Genesis, which we haven't even talked about. Genesis, great console, went head to head with the SNES. They both were just dominant in their time. And Sega did a great job of advertising and selling themselves as a cool, hip alternative. All their ads were fast and colorful and had fast cutscenes, and it was really 90s, which was big in the 90s. So, and they painted Nintendo as the family friendly, the safe bet. We're the dangerous ones. Come to us. And I was like 8 at the time, so that type of advertising definitely worked for me.
You were hyped up.
Hell yeah, I bought in.
Yeah, that's Sega, and then they had Sega Channel. I don't know if anybody was blessed enough to have that, but it basically came right through your cable television, and you had Sega Channel. It snapped right into your Sega Genesis, and it was the first subscription service, truly, by any company. They literally delivered 20 or 30 games a month to you,
and like exclusive.
Right, like Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 and all that stuff. That was right there every month at your fingertips if you paid for it.
That's awesome.
What they did was it was coaxial cable into a cart. So, obviously internet wasn't a thing, but it was delivered like your cable channel. It was really cool. In our mutual friend, the one we were just talking about very recently, had it. So I went over to his house and played that all the time. It was really cool. Sega Channel, Sega Genesis, awesome.
Sounds like Sega was ahead of their time, like in terms of like
times,
like the internet, the subscription service with the coaxial shit. Did I already say internet browser? I think I said that already. The VMUs, like they were doing shit back then, bro. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it sucks that we probably would not see another Sega console. Because I think obviously competition leads to innovation, and in a lot of ways, Xbox and Sony are pretty much the only difference is they're exclusives at this point. The hardware is pretty interchangeable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and Sega moved away from hardware. Period. Don't they only develop and publish it now?
Yeah, after the Dreamcast failed, they got right out because they had so what they fucked up with the Sega Genesis is all these add-ons that was confusing for the average end user. They had the Sega CD, they had the Sega 32X, they had some other shit that was only in Japan, and people were just like confused because a lot of ways they thought they were buying a new console because it was the same price to buy that Sega CD add-on, and it wasn't great. And they felt burnt out because a lot similar to how Rockstar keeps milking GTA 5 instead of giving us something new. That's what they were doing with the Genesis. The Sega 32X or the Sega CD should have been a brand new console. They were ready to, and it could have been. Instead, it turned your fucking it turned your console into some Frankenstein, and it didn't work well either. So people really got burnt by Sega and moved on.
That's tough.
Also, the Sega Saturn launch, it was a surprise launch. So they had like a news conference or a big press conference talking about announcing the system like it's coming out. Everyone thought it was coming out in 6 months. They're like, and it's out right now. And there were no fucking games for it. There's a one game, as a racing game that they developed in house, and it was full price. So everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?" And it, for that and some other reasons, the big thing that killed Sega Saturn or hurt them is they didn't have a Sonic game at launch. They were working on a Sonic game, Sonic Extreme, which probably would have been a badass game, but it went into development hell and never released, and eventually was canceled in 1996, which was 2 years after the Saturn launch.
That's crazy. Sega had like Sega is right there along with Nintendo as far as like nostalgia for me. Like I remember the first NBA 2K games came out there. You had Sonic is what I remember mostly. The Resident Evil games. What was it House of the Dead? I think was that it.
Yep.
That shit was
Yeah.
insane. And then obviously
There's,
like, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's the Virtual Cop, which was a really cool game. Virtual Fighter, all the Virtua games
Yep.
were pretty sweet.
And you got I mean, moving forward, I guess in Sega's life, I mean, they're part of Persona now. Another mention there. Um oh yeah, fuck, I don't know if I mentioned this on any other show, but Persona is going to be in the new Super Monkey Ball. So, I
Yeah, I
might
think you did mention that.
I might get that based off that alone. But yeah,
So we haven't talked about Xbox at all.
yeah,
No, I just one last thing, just to wrap up Sega. Sega always ahead of its time. Sega was the real way to put the arcade in your home. Dawn of the Dead. There were so many games that you could get with like they really did accentuate the add-on controllers instead of where Sega made a mistake with the 32X and all this other stuff. They actually did really well with the controllers. So for example, if you were to pick up a keyboard and mouse, it actually worked really well. If you got the fishing pole, that worked amazing for Sega bass fishing. um, then there was things like Dead or Alive 3, great fighting game. Soul Calibur, another great fighting game. A lot of good. If GTA 3 was if Sega Dreamcast didn't have the GD-ROM, the gigabyte CD, which needed all this proprietary code to just burn the disk, and they could have put GTA 3 on the Dreamcast, I don't think we would be talking about Sony like we are today. I
Yeah,
think
I
they they went with that proprietary disc, and that's where they screwed themselves.
and it was easy to bootleg. You can burn. There was no DRM on it. You could just burn it with an ISO and
Oh,
play it in your Dreamcast.
and there was Dream SNES. Dream
Yeah,
SNES was every Super Nintendo game. It was like one of like aside from your computer, obviously, but it was one of the first emulators that you could get on a console. You just pop the disc in. I mean, it's amazing. I have one for Nintendo right now.
yeah.
And people are still burning these things today. I mean, I my heart goes out to it because it really should have taken the cake there. It had Daytona USA. It, it stomped the N64 in my opinion all
I
day. But
agree.
anyway,
So,
but
are we going to talk about Xbox?
uh,
we
well, yeah,
can.
Shenmue. Somebody
Yeah,
mentioned Shenmue in the
Shenmue.
chat.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that
Yeah,
was man of day.
Are those games any
Xbox.
good?
Shenmue 1's the best. Xbox took Shenmue 2 and destroyed it.
yeah. You can
Shenmue
That's
see
tough.
Shenmue too.
Wait, those I think Shenmue 1 and 2 are on Game Pass or on Xbox, I think, at this
They
point.
are,
They're
and
on
yeah,
Steam too.
yep.
May have to play them. I heard they're not that much fun to play with like doesn't Shenmue use like the actual time bait like in game to do like certain missions and shit. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, you gotta
yeah.
watch her. You literally watch the watch. Like you look down, like, oh, Fuku-san, it is 7 past the hour. Hitori-san's going to be worried about us. We must get home. Black screen, go to bed.
It can be tedious for sure. It was groundbreaking. Shenmue was awesome in its time. I absolutely loved it when it came out. I have not gone back to it since, so I can't speak to how it holds up. But when it came out, there was nothing like it.
The first true JRPG. Not even because Final Fantasy was out by then, wasn't it?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but they captured
Xbox,
they captured the Japanese old woman face so well. I'll find a picture of it. I mean,
Yeah, and you could even
go
go do
ahead.
the little gotcha machines in Shenmue, like all the mini games and shit. You can't forget about those.
yeah. So
Exactly.
Sega just gonna win.
I need a Coke.
No, no, no.
Or just like,
Inspect everything. But yeah, we can talk about Xbox because that's what I did most as a child, I guess. So I started with the OG Xbox. Fuck, and we say we're going to talk about Xbox, but I'm immediately going back to Sega. Fucking Jet Set Radio, bro. Come
Yeah,
on, that shit was insane. Jet
we
Set,
can't get away from it, dude. We can't get away from it. I'm sorry, we just can't.
Jet Set
It's
Radio Future was the very first game I played for my Xbox, which I think it came with the Xbox in like a combo deal with a racing game. Might have been Project Gotham, I think. Maybe some
I don't
racing
know.
game. But yeah, first game I played, absolutely fucking iconic. Even still to this day, the music is top tier. They got Halo, Gears, fucking I don't know, dude. I could just go on and on. It's like that's all. Like I'm the Xbox fanboy.
Yeah,
They've always been good to me. Consoles are just like I don't know. I each console, the Xbox, Xbox 360, I've went through like two each, so they're not like I guess put together the best because them bitches are always breaking. But I think they probably have the best modern controller as well. It just feels way more comfortable than the Sony ones to me.
yeah. I agree. That's when I do play with the controller on my PC. It's always an Xbox. I would say the Xbox controller is much better than the PlayStation controller, but the PS5 controller with the tactic, um, the triggers, the way that they've made them pressurized,
That is
it
pretty
feels
cool.
so. It feels awesome. I still think the Xbox controller is better designed ergonomically, though.
Yeah, all Xbox has trigger wise is they vibrate. It was
But
cool.
the Xbox, the very first Xbox controller, that fat discus,
The Duke,
that boy was not good. The Duke,
hell
yeah,
no.
he was not not a good controller.
You know
But
they
they
re-released
eventually
it.
got there. Yeah, I contemplated picking up just to have one, but
Yeah,
God,
it was cool because I mean it works for like the Xbox One and like the gigantic fucking Xbox logo is like a screen. Like whenever you turn it on, it does like the OG Xbox logo boot up shit. It's insane, dude.
that's pretty cool.
Very cool. But yeah, Xbox is my preferred way to play. Like I don't know, I have the Series X. Was a pain in the ass to find. But I got it. It's cool, I guess. I don't really have the display to support it properly. I'm not playing in like 4K or anything, but I love it. It's pretty cool. There's no Persona games on there, sadly. Wait, yes, there is. There's Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is on there, or it was on 360, but you can buy it and do the backwards compatibility, which they're all Xbox is also kicking the shit out of Sony in that department. Um,
The Game Pass, yeah, Game
I
Pass alone is
wasn't I
such a
supposed to get
fucking
kicked
value.
off 59 minutes ago or something like that. I think say Persona again. I sort of
that might be my last mention until we get back to Sony again. But
So I think you gotta put in the value of Game Pass and the fact
absolutely.
that Xbox is still standing and still competing. Like So the one thing that's interesting is the Xbox has never made a foothold in Japan. It sells so poorly compared to Nintendo and Sony just in Japan. It does well worldwide otherwise. I always found that to be interesting. But if between the two, it's hard for me. I probably would have to lean towards Xbox just because they stood the test of time and they're still innovating. I think Game Pass is going to force Nintendo to do or Sony to do something. Nintendo has they have the what do they call it? Their subscription service has a bunch of SNES and NES games on there. I would love to see N64 games make it there. Maybe even GameCube. It hasn't happened yet. But I think Sony's severely lacking when it comes to that shit.
Yeah, you can't talk about Xbox without Game Pass. Like, what is it, $15 a month with the membership included for the online services, but like all the fucking games and even the new games coming to Game Pass day one. Like, if you just pay $15 a month and you get the latest new game that everyone's gonna play. So like you can't really beat that. Sony has to step up.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
they gotta figure out a way. Both these companies have to figure out a way to get consoles in the hands of people in order to start making the subscription service, work.
that's
Like,
very true. Yeah, the chip shortage is still killing us. Like I got lucky getting a PS5. I have a Series S. I haven't really tried to get a Series X, but I know it's damn hard. I just got lucky.
Yep, I was scouring the internet for weeks for the Series X, and the only way I was able to get one was because there was a $800 bundle at GameStop that nobody wanted to buy. So I had to put that shit on a payment plan, but I had to have it. I mean, I didn't have to have it, but I have
You
it.
wanted it.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
it. And like you can easily find or I'm not going to say easily find the Series S, but I know locally for me, like I can go to Walmart right now and buy one. They're always in stock there.
Yeah, it's easier. But what are you going to vote for, Xbox or Sega?
I don't know, man. I love Sega. We know this, but I don't know. For me, it's Xbox is what I've literally grown up with. I've never not had an Xbox, so it's definitely Xbox or Microsoft for me.
All
so
right.
real
Go
quick,
ahead.
some pros and cons on the Xbox, right? So, Xbox, the original one, didn't run hot, but the trays broke in them all the time. Xbox 360s ran too hot. The What happens is the chips on the boards themselves, they shift just a little bit, throwing them off. So to actually fix your Xbox 360, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I got the red ring of death." Tear that thing apart, right? Clean up your thermal paste, put new thermal before you put new thermal paste on. Take a heat gun or a hair dryer and just go over it for about 4 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on another, just like your hot pockets, okay, kids? Four on one side, two on the other. All right, let it cool down to room temperature, new thermal paste, put all your stuff back together, put it back in, and it'll fire right up like new.
Wasn't it also, or weren't the 360 motherboards also being like warped due to like heat and shit as well?
Correct. Yeah, that was a big thing because what they did is they didn't give it enough space between the plastic and the board itself. There, what happens is there's not. It's all about airflow, right? Um, Nothing is liquid cooled unless it's your PC. So there was a real problem with getting enough air under it to create a balance of temperature at the top of the board as well as the bottom of the board. And you would find warping. And that's kind of the other thing that the hair dryer or the heat gun methodology. You can go to, you know, um, your local big box store and get a heat gun for $40. Or if you want Wagner heat gun, please contact us at contact@justpodcast.com. Please sponsor us for next week and we'll push your heat guns because they actually really do work. The one I have, it was like, I think it was like $40. It's got a whole bunch of like different fan speeds, so I don't have to blow a lot of hot air on it. And I mean, I've fixed them. I brought them back to life, and people are still playing them today, and they're none the wiser that they were ever broken. So
Yep.
that's that's the bad part of them. The good part of the Xbox is they really were able to hone in on the communication, right? You got the headset with the Xbox 360, you got the headset with the Xbox, and just their voice communication chat inside of Halo, inside of Modern Warfare 2, all your all your different Call of Duties was far better than oh my God, what was the game for PS2 that was popular? It was also Call of Duty, but there was also like SEAL Team or something on
SOCOM.
PS2. SOCOM, there you go. So well, SOCOM was different. No, it was like SEAL Team. It was like a multiplayer game. But anyway, people on PlayStation, even to this day, you fire up a PlayStation 4, you go to talk to people, you might get a handful, right? Or a handful of people respond. Xbox, you have whole lobbies just dropping every
The
racial
most
slur
toxic
possible.
shit you'll ever
Yeah,
be in.
if you ever
Yeah.
just look at YouTube, go to YouTube and look up like Modern Warfare 2 lobby, and man, it every like the one that's captured the most and has a billion views right now, that is every single lobby. It doesn't matter what game mode you're playing. You could play one in the chamber, you could play team deathmatch. Man, they would assume your race, your gender, your sexual orientation. It's
And you
yeah,
can
you had
guarantee
to
they're
have a
fucking your
turtle
mom
shell.
tonight as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, everybody's taking turns on your mom. It was just bad.
Yeah, Xbox, like you said, it's just so easy. Like headset comes with it and you're just
You
in.
really you talk about it like a girl. It's just so easy to talk to.
It is. It's I just know it and I'm comfortable with it. But the only thing that kind of sucks, I mean, I think Sony has it now, but maybe not so much, is the online subscription. I guess that's always been Xbox's thing. It's like, or now it doesn't even exist anymore. It used to be $60 for a year of Xbox Live Gold, which
Yes.
that has now been deleted and rolled into Game Pass. So it's you're paying $15 a month for Game Pass and Gold. I think you may still be able to buy the 1 month and the 3 month subscriptions, but yeah, there's that's always been like the thing. I have it, or I used to have it set up when I was a kid with no job and living with my parents. I had it set up to where I would get a 12-month subscription for Xbox each Christmas. So I just always had that shit on. I never missed it. But some of my friends were doing like the 3 month options and they would be going without Xbox Live for weeks. So yeah, that kind of
Speaking of,
sucks.
I just want to segue real quick. So Steve and I knowing each other for as long as we have, as we prefaced earlier in the show, we had one friend that I will remain nameless, but every week, guy would get paid. He would go buy his TV from the pawn shop, and within like a day, he'd be pawning his TV for the cash again for the week.
Yep, that's
And
very
it just
true.
and like I thank God he didn't have Xbox. I mean, we would be seeing him once every 8 months. I found me like a 3-day card that was on the side of the road in a broken game case. Like
Yep.
he would be the type of guy to go right into GameStop, crack all the little plastic cases open. No games, no problem. I'm just gonna take the Xbox Live freebie card. You know,
Yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Back to the
Shout out
topic.
to you, sir.
Yeah, value as far as Microsoft goes is what's like keeping it, I guess. Like, yes, the 360 was kind of shit. I mean, as far as hardware goes, I went through two of them bitches. I went through two original Xboxes as well. There was, I think there was a fix for the OG Xbox. It would just simply stop reading discs. But if you flip the bitch upside down and tried to play, it might work. And then there was there was also the thing with the 360. You got the red ring of death. Wrap that bitch in a towel for like 15 minutes and you're good for a while. Very inconvenient. So they lose points for early hardware fuck ups. And then my 360 got to the point to where the disk drive wouldn't want to open, so I'd have to bang on top of the bitch to get it to open. So yeah,
I could just see Dimitri caveman in the hell out of.
literally, it's 3 a.m. I'm trying to switch from Modern Warfare 2 to fucking whatever game. 3 a.m. You're just gonna be banging in my room, just
Hold on, boys. I'm coming, boys. Hold on. No, don't kick me from voice chat. I know you got a 6, but don't kick me from voice chat. Let
yep,
me just get the discount.
bro.
Let me get
It's
the discount.
30 minutes have
Come
went by
on.
and your disc tray still isn't open. What's happening? So yeah, they lose points for that. So I mean, I'm still choosing Xbox over Sega. But what's your guys' stance?
I think I'm gonna go Sega. I got it.
Man,
Got to give it love.
I
that's the
already
thing.
know.
bad position, man, because I'm like the biggest Sega fan. But
And you also got to think, Xbox is still out here in the consoles, or Microsoft is still in the console space. Sega is long departed.
how about this? We're gonna record the podcast like this, but Satya Nadella, please hit up contact@justpositionpodcast.com. Microsoft sponsorships, come on this way. We will partner with you, whatever we have to do. I spent hundreds of hours playing Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox
Yes,
360.
yes.
Hmm. While my grown age loves the Dreamcast, loves the Sega Genesis, loves everything that they did, I gotta go with Microsoft on that
Let's
because
go.
really like honestly like during that span of my life, it was very memorable. And but like I said, if Satya Nadella, you don't hit us up at
We'll
contact
edit this
at
shit.
justapositionpodcast.com, we're gonna slide Sega over and we'll just redo this. That's fine.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, dude.
No,
Like,
that Modern Warfare 2, man. Anybody could ask. I mean, they could look at my gamer tag at any time of day or night. I mean, I would go to the work, come home, fire that thing up, and I would just all night.
yep. It's same for
And
me except for school instead of work. Like that's
right,
just what you did. It's
exactly.
When Modern Warfare 2 is out, after school, after work, it's just simply understood that when the friend group departs, you're meeting back up in the Xbox Live party, search and destroy Modern Warfare 2 the rest of the night. Like it just didn't get any better than that.
It really was good. And like when Black Ops came out, like everybody
Mm-hmm.
would try Black Ops. Nope. We
Right
ran
back.
right back to
Yeah.
right back. I mean, it was
Dude,
just that good. So
we went back to Modern Warfare 2 up until Black Ops 2 came out. We were like that's Modern Warfare 2. Did World at War come out after Modern Warfare 2? Was that before? I think it was before. Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3. We were just like playing it and then we're just like, you guys trying to go back to Modern Warfare 2? That's just what we always did. It just couldn't compete.
it's like the meme with Drake. It's just like Modern Warfare 2, and then it's like any other ones.
Yep, exactly. Bro, even still, if they remastered and ported fucking Modern Warfare 2 to or current gen consoles, dude, that'd be the best selling game of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. There's money to be made. They will fucking milk
Which
it.
they remastered the campaign only for that, but nobody was asking for that.
Yeah, I bought it. I don't know why, but I did.
Yeah, same.
Sure. But then you play it and it's just not the same. That's the other thing. It's
Mm-mm.
like
Yeah.
a lot of things that people are like, oh man, I'm gonna play the hell out of this retro game. I put 500 hours into it when I was a kid. I mean, you fire it up for 20, 30, 40 hours and you're just like, okay, well, I'm done with this. You know, it's just, it wears out pretty quick.
Modern Warfare 2
Yeah.
don't though.
No, but I mean, remember lag switches? Oh my God.
Yes, the prestige lobbies, the title and emblem lobbies. Bro,
Yep.
after every fucking game there'd be a kid sending you a message, 1500 Microsoft points and I'll give you all camos, titles and emblems. Message me back. Then you get in there, someone gives them the card and then the lobby closes. You just got fucking scammed.
Seriously.
Toxic. Absolutely toxic.
Toxic.
But yeah,
But like, Keep showed like a switch that you would have like so when you make a Ethernet cable, you can it's like A to A or B to B. There's different ways the wires inside of the cable are actually twisted inside of the plastic, and they made this thing that would actually be a lag switch, which would lag you on their screen by messing with some of the packets, and then you would get the kill and then fire it back up.
it's insane.
It was a physical item between you and like your cable modem.
Yeah, people,
Bullshit.
I don't know if it was just a meme, but I was looking into it at the time. And it was literally like some dude spliced in an Ethernet cable to a literal fucking light switch and taped it to the back of his controller, like, and flipped it, and you would lag, but that's probably just a meme.
I would hope so. God, I hope so. I hope so. That'd be terrible.
Yep, and then there was also in the era of the 360 the J tags, which was like the like forget what it did, but it allowed you to, I think it was like run or execute like unsigned code on the fucking Xbox, so you could get like secret menus, like dev access, shit like that. Which that's how people got the modded lobbies on Modern Warfare 2. You can now run emulators on it. Yeah, dude. But you had to have like the early versions of the Xbox to do it for like the certain cable hookups and shit like that. It was very, very weird, but still cool. All right, I think
All
that
right.
might be enough of Modern Warfare 2 throwbacks.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I could talk about it for a long. I'm trying to refrain.
Yeah.
You know. But
Okay.
we actually have to finish off this bracket here. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
I think
Okay.
we should go to PlayStation or Sony versus Neo Geo.
Yeah.
I think
Let
that
me go over the
next.
standings really quickly because it has been a
Yeah.
minute. So for the audio listeners, we have
Final
Nintendo.
four.
Huh?
Final four.
Yep. Final four. We have Nintendo versus Xbox and Sony versus SNK Neo Geo. So this should be interesting, I guess.
Uh,
But all right, where do we want to start? Do we want to go to Sony Neo Geo since we just talked about Xbox?
yes,
yeah.
I think we should.
All right, I mean
So,
it's a no brainer for me. I'm choosing Sony. So if you guys want to
yeah,
discuss
I don't.
Neo
I
Geo,
don't think we need a. I don't think we need a deep dive. We already. That's what the first round was for. Much respect to Neo Geo, but Sony,
Yep.
100% Sony. They were
100%.
groundbreaking. They made a ton of changes to the gaming landscape when they. So what we can talk about is the origin story to PlayStation. So PlayStation, Sony, and Nintendo partnered, and the original PlayStation was supposed to be a disc add-on, similar to Sega CD, for the Super Nintendo. It was supposed to be the Nintendo PlayStation. That's where the name came from. And then at E3, Nintendo, at their announcement, said they were going to partner with Philips. Just completely shit on Sony. Sony Group stood up, walked right out, and went to make Sony PlayStation for themselves. And the CD add-on never came to fruition. They never made that. So Nintendo made their their antagonist, their enemy, essentially. They made a competitor in that moment. So that's the origin to Sony PlayStation. Nintendo had a lot to do with it, and now we have three standing today with Microsoft, Xbox, Sony PlayStation, Nintendo. All came out of that.
Didn't Nintendo have that one GameCube? Was it the Panasonic GameCube or whatever? It was kind of like the all silver like
Oh, I know what
GameCube
you're talking
version.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
It's a
obscure.
it's a Japanese only.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But
Panasonic Q.
Something like that.
there's also the Nintendo DD. This Nintendo 64
Hmm.
DD was, which was a disc add-on
Also
for
Japan only.
yeah.
In
Um,
which you could
so
there's been some people in the US that have just come up on them from just I guess they were in storage or whatever from way back when. But like people have discovered them
insane.
recently. It's fucking crazy. I don't think
That would
anyone's
be
been able to
awesome.
get it to work though.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's like region locked or whatever. But I don't know. But yeah, so anything else to say about Sony Neo Geo? Obviously Sony's the winner here.
Yeah, let's go with Sony. I'm good with Sony.
All right. Nintendo and Xbox. This is kind of tough for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Because
uh, I mean, I'm sorry. We kind of gave the origin story, the background on all of them. Um, you know, I think we all have a ton of nostalgia for both. For me, it's gonna my nostalgia will be more with Nintendo, just because I grew up with the NES and the SNES. But nowadays, I played my Xbox Series S way more than I play my Switch. The only time I play my Switch is if I'm playing Smash with you guys or something like that. So
I
it's
think that
hard.
I think
But
that's a good barometer, Steve, finding out like what you actually play today. I mean, you own both of them. Like, what do you actually say? Okay, so we have this Nintendo Switch, and the other thing is like, where Microsoft really really excelled was like technology, right? Like we need to have a good platform to play on. DVD player, and then the Xbox 360, they came out with the HD DVD player. I don't know if you guys remember that add-on, but
Mm-hmm.
that was an add-on as well. So they were always trying to stay on top. Nintendo always tried to make everything proprietary, do their own thing. I mean, they didn't really have a true CD looking item until the Wii. I
Yeah.
mean, oh, we're gonna stick with cartridges. Well, cartridges batteries die, then you don't save your game. What then? Well, we get people to repair them. Well, you need a
And the
proprietary tool,
proprietary
right?
GameCube disc, the
Yeah.
tiny boy, for the
Oh, the
GameCube.
mini disc, yeah. And at the
Yeah.
time, like you had the GameCube, you had the PlayStation 2, and you had the Xbox. The Xbox and PlayStation 2 could play, or PlayStation 2 could be a DVD player all day for you,
Yep.
and that was popular. I mean, the DVDs at the time were like, if you wanted 1080p content, TV was still 480p all day. 1080p
Did
content came on DVDs.
let let me ask you a question. Did I'm assuming yes, but did the Xbox, the first Xbox play CDs, music CDs?
Yes.
Yes.
So we
You
got
could
that.
you could
I don't think you could do that with the GameCube.
yeah, on the original Xbox, you could actually rip songs off of discs and create your own playlist within it. Because I remember on San Andreas on original Xbox, there was actual a radio station of your playlist music from your Xbox, which was fucking dope.
That is awesome.
They had the internal hard drives too
Hmm.
first.
Yep.
Um,
But the GameCube had
I,
a handle on the back. that was
That's
that was their thing, bro. What's worth
it's
more, a
portable.
hard drive
I
or the
think I
handle?
think I've been here 66 minutes too long. No, the handle on the GameCube is yes, that's great. Take it to your friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's portable. No, who cares? I want
so
to watch
uh,
DVDs.
so yeah, I get your point. I can't discount the shit Nintendo did to help change the landscape. You can't discount Nintendo Entertainment System. The first Nintendo home console in the United States brought us out of the game crash of 1983. Everyone thought home consoles were dead. They were a novelty. Now they're gone. If you want to play, you go to an arcade. You have to give them credit there. And
Yeah.
then, the games that were released on SNES hold up. I still play Mario World. I still play Metroid, Castlevania, A Link Between Time. Those games hold up.
Right.
So it's hard for me to pick Xbox over Nintendo. I'm leaning towards Nintendo, but I haven't really made my decision yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't really like hold it against Nintendo for trying to innovate because like they're the first ones to do motion shit well with the Wii and that sold insane. And then that went with Xbox following up with the Kinect and then Sony with the PlayStation Move with those little fucking vibrator looking controllers. It was good,
That
but
wasn't a
we
vibrator.
Ladies.
but yeah, dude, the Wii did it first and it was fucking great. And I'm pretty sure it probably still is great if you go back to it. Nobody's been able to emulate it as well. In which
But I
the
Yeah.
mean,
Connect.
between the SNES and the Wii, though, the mistakes that were made along the way, though, all the proprietary crap. I
Hmm.
mean, granted, like, sure, you spend top dollar for GameCube games today. You can get a system for maybe $100, $140, depending on where you want to go. By the way, if you do sell consoles, I'm looking at you guys out there, private sellers. You want to hit up contact at justpositionpodcast.com. We'll pimp your store. Give us a little coupon code, 20% off, whatever. We can work with that. No, but in all seriousness, though, the thing I struggle with is yes, okay, so Nintendo did bring us out of that era of the console's dead, sure, but the path of Nintendo and the path that Nintendo's still taking is one of the old mindset. I mean, if you look up Nintendo news, the latest thing or one of the latest rumors, you know, is that the Switch will have, Game Boy Color titles that you can stream. Great. But if I want to play a game, like going back to what Steve was saying, if I want to play a game while on the road on a portable device and I don't have internet, I'm host. That's bad business all day. You're
Yeah,
selling me on the fact that your Switch is both portable and playable against the TV, or just portable with the Switch Lite. Oh, buy our Switch Lite. You could take it anywhere, play it on a plane, whatever. Well, first off, memory's not that expensive, and you've starved us of memory. So, like, if you did want to download, say, like a movie to a card, you would have to find a player. It really should be that portable device that we need. It should take the place of an iPad for watching movies on a plane. It should take the place of, like your cell phones going into airplane mode. Again, I talk about being on a plane, but like it'd be really convenient to sit and play a game while you're on a 3-hour flight somewhere, right? I
yeah,
mean,
I agree.
I really think that they're 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 cutting their nose off to spite their face with this, and Um, so with that
If
said, I'm gonna go with Microsoft. They seem to stay on top of innovation. I'm just gonna make my announcement here. I'm gonna go Microsoft. I love you, Nintendo, but you gotta
I
step your
agree.
game up. You
They have
gotta
to
step
step
your
up.
game up.
Yeah, you're not wrong on any of that. Nintendo, they know that their fanboys are going to come out and buy another console, buy their first party games that never go on discount. Like,
Yes.
I bought Mario Party at $60 last month when there's a new one coming out in 2 weeks. So yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with Nintendo for the historical purposes and everything I've said already. But if they don't if they don't change their ways, I might have to hop off and just not buy the next one.
You say that, but we're probably all going to buy the next one, unfortunately.
Well, not the next Switch. I mean, the next Switch, like,
Oh yeah,
you
it's
guys talked
barely an
No,
about it a few
improvement.
podcasts ago. The next Switch is just there's nothing really to buy. There's
there's nothing.
Pretty
There's no
much.
reason to buy it. Yeah.
Pretty
I,
much.
I, I've already spent
Oh,
$300. Why do I need to spend another, 350 or whatever it is? Why?
Yep.
we knew it was going to come down to this.
This is where it always ends up.
Yep.
Microsoft versus Sony. The console war fanboys are creaming their pants right now
This
because
is going to come down to you, Chris. We can all talk about it, but it's going to come down to you.
yeah, um, it's
I
kind
do.
of hard for me because I'm between the PS4 and Xbox One. I played my PS4 more despite getting it 2 years after my Xbox One because I'm I don't know. Xbox is definitely for the people as far as like content and shit like that, but
So
they've
was the Jeep.
fuck Jeeps. Fuck
Steve,
everyone who
historically speaking, Steve knows what I'm talking about. I was Volkswagen. Sorry, the Volkswagen, then the Jeep, and it's all for the people. Oh,
yeah,
Yes.
the people wagon. Yeah,
Yes.
the people's
I,
wagon. Yeah,
Wagen.
no,
as a Volkswagen
yeah.
owner, I can tell you that Volts means people and wagon means car. People's car.
Love to
hmm
see it. They're shit vehicles because they cost so much to work on.
I
Like
can't argue with that.
it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I can't.
your window motor went out. Damn, we got to replace the whole door.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah,
Over German engineering there.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digress there, but no, man, this is kind of tough.
It
So,
is tough.
It's
Steve,
This
tough.
what do you say? I feel like Steve's going PlayStation. Dimitri, you're probably gonna go Microsoft Xbox.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's why I said it was going to come down to you. So
My
I jumped on the Sony PlayStation. I bought the first one, bought everyone after that, played the shit out of it. I loved it, had no regrets. I still love my PS5, even if there isn't a ton of games for it. It's familiar, an easy interface. They change it enough, but not change it where you won't. If you haven't been on a PlayStation since PlayStation 3, you know what the hell you're doing. You know how to get there. So yeah, it just it's beautiful. In the load times, oh my god. Like I
yeah.
used to be able to start a game and go fucking pour a drink and do whatever, come back. It loads instant. it's fantastic. I love the new technology, and to add a expansion hard drive in PS5, it's stupid easy. You just slide the case off, and it's right there. It's one screw away.
Isn't it? Doesn't
So
it accept the NVMe drives?
yes,
Damn, that's where Xbox Series X S lose. They have that proprietary fucking 100 what is it, $190 drive,
yep,
1 terabyte drive. That's so
$200.
stupid,
Yeah,
so
yep.
stupid. But
Y- Yeah, proprietary. See, this is the thing, and these companies don't learn it. Proprietary kills. Sega Dreamcast. No, think about our conversation tonight, right? Like, let's go
exactly
all the way back. Dreamcast, proprietary disc, GD-ROM, dead.
dead.
Works great, dead. Look at all the screws to take apart a Wii. There's a tri screws. Look at the screws in the Game Boy. It's a tri screw. I mean, you have to buy a special screwdriver. Like, why? Like, we're gonna crack your stuff open anyway. Stop with the
Yes, we will.
proprietary. Stop spending money on proprietary stuff. Stop trying to be different or whatever. I mean, just make a console that can be used by anyone quickly, efficiently, because most of your audience nowadays, especially in the adult realm, want to go home from work or school or wherever they're going from. They want to sit down and they don't want to have to worry about, okay, do I got to go to NVIDIA get my graphics drivers updated? What else? No, they want to pop in a disc and just go to town or download a game and go to town. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
again, going just proprietary. Let's just keep, now Microsoft's, oh, well, we work with NVMe with Windows and everything else. Don't worry. I mean, your
Xbox,
PC,
get fucked.
but yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox, why don't we make it look like a sausage pizza? And yeah, let's take some of the lightning cable stuff, put that over here, and yeah, they over-engineered, over-designed, expensive, stupid, and one of these days somebody's going to teach you on YouTube how to take wire one and wire two and just jump over it so it thinks that every drive you plug in is the proprietary drive. So
Yep.
Microsoft, please give that up. Please
Please,
give
it
that
is
up.
costing us way too much money. Like, I understand that the new gen titles need like the SSD for like the updated shit, but like
Oh yeah.
there's there's solutions already in place for that. Why make a proprietary shit for it? Because you can there's I just saw a video of it today. There's an adapter for it that you can plug into the proprietary drive slot and plug in a SSD. And if Xbox detects that you're doing that, but it rejects it because it's not the proprietary SSD. So get fucked. Part two.
That's what Microsoft's telling you. Also, releasing a digital only console in 2020 that has 500 gigs of storage.
You can't
Thank
do
you. I
it.
can play 4 games.
Yeah, you have to beat one
Yeah.
game and delete it. That is so
Yeah.
fucking stupid. I mean, same with Sony, but at least you can upgrade those SSDs relatively
Oh,
easily.
and storage is cheap, guys. I mean, if I can understand if you buy the latest Xbox, you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm gonna stream my games. If they were to stream all the games, right? You can't play a game without internet. Okay, fine. I know we talked about the Switch. Switch is different. It's handheld. It's meant to be portable. The Xbox Series X is not meant to be portable. It's meant to sit next to your television. And in order to get the best gaming experience, you really do want a big TV, good sound system, nice headset, etc. So you're not going to be traveling with this too often, right? So why is it so difficult to either provide users with a cloud storage device or provide them with OneDrive support that just hooks to their Xbox day one? So the IMEI, or they gave it like a special number, for example, like the MAC address of each Xbox just instantly gets, a terabyte of a OneDrive space plus
Yep.
whatever the hard drive is inside. I mean, that would be so much better on so many different levels because it's space is cheap. Space is
Yeah.
stupid cheap. And 500 gigs nowadays is it's not going to take you anywhere at all. I mean,
Call of
it's
Duty
stupid.
alone is, I think, Modern Warfare ended up being almost 200 gigs. One
Yep.
game.
Yep.
Yep.
That's almost half your drive gone for one fucking game. It's insane. I
And if you're
think,
a fanboy of
Big.
that game and that's the only game you have on your Xbox, cool, fine. All
yep.
right, great.
Yeah.
But don't expect to play Hello Kitty's Island Adventure. But by the
Gotta
way, Hello
delete
Hey.
Kitty,
Warzone for that.
contact at Just Position Podcast.
I think what it's going to come down to for me is the exclusives, because that's the whole reason I have a PlayStation in the first place. Because Xbox simply just didn't have, which I think they're getting more now. But during the time when I bought my PlayStation, they simply had what, Halo and Gears and Forza. I don't really want to play those. They're almost the same every year with minor improvements. But with Sony, you get whole new experiences like multiple times a year. Like there's always new shit coming out. I mean, the last I'd say 3 years alone, I've played Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, Persona, Persona, God of
Jeez.
War. Um, I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Like I said, I've spent more time on my PlayStation than I have with Xbox in the last few years. So I think what it comes down to for me is those exclusives. And I mean, I love my Xbox, but it just you don't get too many Modern Warfare 2 experiences anymore. And I've since gotten older, and I enjoy a good single player casual experience more often than hardcore multiplayer stuff now. So I think I'm gonna choose Sony, to be honest with this one.
Wow. So then it doesn't come down to me then.
Damn.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a
Wasn't expecting
shocker.
that. Yeah.
So Sony gets the dub.
What were you gonna pick?
I mean, I thanks for everybody who stuck around. I know we're kind of running late here, with this podcast, but there's a lot of like really deep dive stuff you could talk about. I mean, I was gonna make a big joke and just say, you know what, Sony, Spyro, all day, let's go. But Crash Bandicoot. I mean,
Oh
let's
yeah,
Yeah.
banger.
let's not forget about our boy Crash. I mean, like on the original PlayStation, that was revolutionary just in itself. Like you're running towards yourself, like
Never
like
seen anything like it.
like the third level, and you had to like jump over stuff that you needed to have the foresight to see.
Yeah. That shit was awesome. I love that.
Exactly, like that. So yeah, no, I was definitely gonna probably go with, again, to agree with Dimitri, you don't get that Modern Warfare 2 experience like you used to back in the day. I haven't had one in years, and yes, I probably put a ton of hours on a PlayStation 4 over any of the Xboxes. The Xbox One kind of, it's like a wet fart for me. It's just
Kind
okay.
of same. That's exactly why I went to PlayStation. Because
Yeah,
the like Steve was saying earlier, like load times for that last gen, which is PS4, Xbox One now. Dude, the Xbox One is so fucking slow, dude. Like the UI is so clunky. If you don't have really good internet, like you're simply not navigating fast through that shit at all. And for
yeah.
some reason, the Sony interface feels so lightweight that like I don't know, you can just
Yeah.
zip around that. And for a long time, my sole internet was a hotspot on my phone. So PlayStation was perfect for that. I could do whatever I wanted, and it felt like I wasn't on a fucking 2 gig down or 2 megabyte down connection. So yeah, it's just I fuck with Sony as far as that goes. And if I'm traveling, I'm taking my PS4 because it's so small. There's no gigantic power brick like there was with the Xbox One. Slip it in a book
Yeah.
bag and you're done.
Yeah.
I did like that about Sony too, that they did innovate in getting smaller. So like, I mean, just look at the PlayStations behind me. I mean, I don't have a
Chunk.
PlayStation 3 Slim, but those fats are very popular to this day because again,
You
people
want
put
to
them in
hold on.
TVs.
Have you seen a PS5? That shit
Them
is
bitches are
not
hefty.
small. Those things
But
are
but
huge.
wait until they come out with the slim version in a couple of years, and
They
it's
they,
I,
they already announced a new version of the PS5 that slims down because they got rid of the heatsink and people are pissed off about it. So I mean, and the Xbox Series X is a fucking monster too.
It is
So
huge.
choose your poison on that. I would rather have a big meaty console than one that's overheating.
would you rather just have a desktop PC at that point?
As a user of
Uh,
all three, Steve, what do you prefer?
for gaming, um, well, okay. So for offline single player, the PS5. If I'm playing anything online, and with friends, it's probably PC.
In
Okay.
which, all of this to say, I don't hate Xbox. Matter of fact, when I get off this podcast, I'm booting up NBA 2K22 on my Xbox Series X, and I'm playing that. So I definitely love Xbox. That's where all of my friends are. So I'm in the ecosystem, but like
Yeah.
Sony is simply, they just have the shit that I crave at this point in time.
Yeah, and I don't think there's like, I mean, we're talking about the Sega Genesis versus the Super Nintendo. The rivalry was real. Like people
Yeah.
weren't playing both. Nowadays, you probably have both. You may get one first and then get the next one along the lines, but yeah, you're not just doing one. You're probably getting both.
Yeah, it was a
You can-
commitment back then. It was a true commitment. And now with the millennial mindset where a lot of millennials are afraid of commitment. Well, I'll just get both. Screw
Yep.
it.
That's
Get
why
both,
all
fuck
us
it.
millennials are bisexual and single.
And soft snowflakes
We're-
that don't
Yeah,
Stop
that
this.
we're
deserve
not
everything.
committing to anything.
No, can't commit to that. Sorry.
Stop
You
this.
know, you and I are both millennials, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, anybody born what is it, after 1978? Please.
Something
Don't
like
get me
that.
don't get me started on that. But there's So we have the
Okay
winners
with it.
bracket. Oh, I guess we all right, winners.
Yeah, I'm
Winners.
putting up the
Yes,
winner
we have
now.
to.
As much as this pains me to do, because I love Xbox. Like I said, I'm going to that shit immediately after I leave this podcast. But as I also said, Sony just has the shit that I crave
You gonna go
right now.
smash some Panda Express too?
Yes, sir.
Get a little panda in
Boom.
your belly and
Huge Sony winner. Wiener,
wait,
wiener. Boom.
boom.
We got it. Sony is the winner.
Anti-climatic.
Sony is your Brondo. That's what you
Console
crave.
war
You know
fanboys
what you crave? It's got electrolytes and stuff.
on God. But yeah.
Well, so yeah, let's Sony, if you're watching this, you kind of made it to the end and under your own merit, but we could really use a sponsor here. So contact at justpositionpodcast.com. Go ahead and just hit up, say, hey, you saw that episode with Chris where PlayStation just won flat out. Actually, it was unanimous. I mean, I think we all voted for PlayStation at the end versus Microsoft. So, yeah. So, the powers that be, marketing at Sony.com or wherever you are, contact at justpositionpodcast.com. Thank you for watching, liking, hitting that thumb in or a liking, giving us a subscribe, hitting that bell. You know what to do. But no, just please,
I guess we're
Sony,
wrapping up.
give us a
Yeah, we're
shout,
wrapping
baby.
up.
Give us a shout. No, I mean we could. I mean, do you guys want to keep going? We could talk about Dimitri's favorite game.
Persona. I think I've done that
Yes.
enough this episode.
Damn it. Oh my.
Let's wrap up the recording on the podcast. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. Like and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. We appreciate you. Share us with your friends. This has been a lot of fun. This is probably our longest episode. We're cruising to 2 hours right now. So thank you for sticking around. Give us some feedback. Let us know if you like this format. We love doing the tournaments. It's a lot of fun for us.
And let us know
But
if you want to sponsor us. Just let us know. Just give us a shout.
this is a first and last episode for Chris, so I hope you appreciated him while he was here.
Peace out, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.